Hey everybody, it's Kendrick from Providence Tarot coming to you for your weeklies for the first week of November 2019. So this is the card at the bottom of the deck from everybody. This is the Prince of Cups, which is the equivalent of the Knight of Cups. This is Pisces energy. So this is fire with mutable water energy, okay? So this is kind of like trying to determine how you feel. What are your passions? What's going to bring you pleasure? What are, your desires, on a spiritual level? You are very inspired. What are you inspired to do? What are you inspired to create? What are you also inspired to sort of like determine about yourself, and what it is that you need? It's Pisces, but it's also 1/3 of the sign that comes before, which is Aquarius. So then we're also talking about, your perspective, you know what I mean, and how that has changed. This is also very universal love, right? This one, it's what are you offering, and what might you be intimidated by what you might be risking with this that you might be offering yourself to, or giving yourself to, giving into something. It's definitely talking about a phase changing, and it's talking about a situation that might challenge you, but you're ready for whatever it is that this challenge might bring about. You know what I mean? What are you walking into? You're walking into something that's going to cleanse you spiritually. It means something different this time, right? And it's kind of like you're understanding that, and you can definitely feel it because it's intuitive, right? You're feeling very empathic here. The moon is in this card. There is a reservoir, or a pond or a lake. He's barefoot, you know what I mean? So he's really receptive, you know what I mean? Your senses are kind of like also even maybe a little bit on overload, heightened senses, okay? A heightened awareness of what it is that you are feeling and where you're going with this feeling, because it does have to do with travel and movement forward, right? You're going with the feeling, you're going with your gut feeling. You guys are trying to think about trusting in your gut feeling. You know what I mean? Even though you might have some reservations, even though you might be feeling a little intimidated by the feelings that you have about moving forward with something, you know what I mean? But there's some risk involved, you know what I mean? But there's reward as well, right? You're ready for it. You are a knight. We are a knight. We're the prince here. We're not the princess. We're not the page. We're not like trying to learn these lessons so we can get to this point where we feel confident enough to do something. We are ready. You are there, right? What are you willing to sacrifice? What are you willing to embrace about your experience that might have to be something that involves truth? Aries, this is your card for the first week of November. So Aries, this is the Four of Pentacles, and this is Sun in Capricorn, right? And when we think about Capricorn, Aries rising specifically, Capricorn is your 10th house of career. You know what I mean? This is also a force, so it's talking about career stability, and it's talking about how you are securing something, Also, what are you willing to let go of? What are you actually trying to protect? You might be trying to protect something, keeping something locked up. It could even have to do with your creativity, but it's career-wise. You know what I mean? Something you could be trying to protect some aspect of your career, or you could be trying to build something, right? You might even be keeping something under wraps in terms of like what you are building. You know what I mean? This is also focus and determination, and it's also, authority. So you feel like you have the right to something. You know what I mean? It could even be that, you feel like you have the right to something. You might even be dealing with the authority of a company, or, the person who might be in the leadership position, or the owner of a company, right? Because it is the Sun in Capricorn, this could even be business-wise for you. Aries rising, you would be, Capricorn would be your 10th house of career, right? And what you have cultivated and what you are building. This is how you identify with your career as well. Are you doing what you feel like you love doing? Is there a connection? Is there a spiritual connection to what you're doing, right? What is the foundation of what you're doing? What are the reasons, right? Definitely. because the 4 is also talking about the 4th house, which is Cancer energy, which is talking about an environment. So you could be trying to protect an environment, or you could be trying to control an environment, right? Keep something under control, definitely. So this is your awareness that you're going to have to get control of something, or make the effort in some kind of way to it's like quality control for sure. You could be managing something. You could be managing the finances, right? You could be trying to save money for something. You could be saving up for something, or money could just definitely be a focus. Definitely the home and money is a focus. You know what I mean? And what you might be able to build, or what you might be able to financially invest in. You know what I mean? Because the 4s are talking about investments, definitely with the Sun and Capricorn energy, right? And he's got the lockbox there, the safe, something is of importance that he would like to keep, right? So you're trying to keep something, but you might have to give something up to get something as well. You know what I mean? What is it that you want, being that this is a 4 of Pentacles? Do you want more money? Is there an opportunity that you're going to have to adhere, acknowledge, be, right? Because it is talking about what what it is that you focus on and what it is that you work on. That is what you become. That's what you are, It's also kind of like you get what you give, right? Some of you guys might have to take out a loan or something like that, in some way, shape, or form. This could even be talking about a home, right? Building a home, focus on a home, new foundation, starting a business, starting a new business, looking at the details of the business, you know what I mean? Maybe you're getting a leadership position within a company, something like that. Yeah, we're going to leave it at that, Aries, but definitely have a great rest of your week, okay? Thank you. Taurus, your card for the first week of November is the 9 of Swords, and this is Mars in Gemini. And Mars actually needs direction. That energy needs to go somewhere where it's going to be very productive. And I feel like you're overthinking something and it's not being productive for you, because your thoughts are kind of going like a mile a minute. You're kind of like trying to keep yourself very busy. You're worrying a lot. There's something for you to learn here. You know what I mean? Haven't you learned your lesson about, obsessing about things that you can't control? You know what I mean? Right? Haven't you learned your lesson about that? Also, what is it that's being revealed to you that you don't really like to see right now? That you're not really kind of like being honest with yourself about? Because the 9s have to do with, going inward and having these epiphanies, right? And then you have to be honest with yourself once you have these epiphanies so they can work for you to your advantage. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like these 9s are saying that, the 9th house, Sagittarius, there are lessons that are being learned, right? And it's kind of like your perspective is being challenged. So you're kind of like trying to figure out where to go with this new perspective, or within the, where you're going with this, right? And this is related to the Hermit. So it's talking about evolving, evolution, changing. It is mutable. Right? And the moon is 18, so there's something hidden here, right? It has to be with nighttime. You could be staying up late, you know what I mean? You might be getting a little bit less sleep than you have been getting, right? And then when we think about this 9, this is kind of like almost being over, almost being complete with something. You know what I mean? You want to put these thoughts to rest. That's what it is. You really do want to put these thoughts to rest. You know what I mean? You could be getting overwhelmed with your thoughts, or it's exhausting your thought. Things are getting in the way too. It's past the point of interfering. You know what I mean? It's actually destabilizing you in a little bit. Because Mars is kind of like it's just going to go, and Gemini is going to just like let it go, right? Because Mercury is actually the esoteric ruler of Aries, right? And there's a Gemini connection there. Okay, because we're also looking at information. We're looking at the truth about something. You feel like you want to know the truth, right? And the truth is really what you understand and what you know, and the truth is your experience. You know what I mean? And what you do with that, right? Because it is talking about healing a little bit, because it's the 9 going into the moon. You need to heal yourself from these thoughts. Put these thoughts to rest. Also, whatever it is that you're thinking about yourself that you feel like, you're reluctant, you're being critical of your own self. You're being too critical of yourself, right? You're being too hard on yourself about some things too. You know what I mean? You need to cut that out. You need to relax, okay? You definitely do. Because if you just continue to worry, you're just going to get more and more worried. You know what I mean? Then you're going to have to do something, right? You're going to be stressed out. You're probably already stressed out, okay? Definitely relax. I want you to not make other people, just try to chill out, Don't let yourself get too out of control with what your imagination might be, projecting, All right, Taurus, thank you. Gemini, what's going on? This is going to be your first week of November. Weeklies, okay, with me, Kendrick, Providence Tarot. 8 of Cups, Saturn and Pisces. Lessons and feelings, lessons in love. What have you learned? This is the opportunity for growth, transformation, right? Transformative, in terms of emotions, right? Emotional maturity that has led you to be assertive and determine what it is that would be best for you, right? Because you could have been submitting or you could have been sacrificing some parts of yourself, right? Or parts of your destiny, right? Your karma, because this has to do with time. You've been spending time on something, right? You've been allowing something to control some aspect of your being, right? Sharing emotional energy with someone has kept you in a place, Gemini, and you need to move forward, right? It actually is going against the flow of the current here, Don't fall in too deep, right? Because you have to realize how you have evolved, right? And when you mature in some aspect, then you have to leave some part of that old part of you behind, right? It's kind of like leave it behind, Even if you have to give something up that is no longer serving you because you've outgrown it, Even your desires have, your desires change over time as you mature, right? So there's some things that you just have to be willing to move along from or walk away from, There's a little bit of inner emotional conflict here, and that's why you don't want to hurt someone's feelings. You don't want someone to feel like you're abandoning them, right? Some of you might even feel abandoned in some kind of way. Emotionally, somebody doesn't understand, right? Because it's an 8, so it is related to Mercury on the Tree of Life, right? But it's talking about thoughts and feelings and how you understand your feelings after a period of time and what they're meant to tell you, and also your level of intelligence, right? The information and the wisdom that comes from you from having an intimate relationship or an intimate feeling, an intimate experience that brings about very mature feelings that are meant to teach you certain lessons that are helping you to move along, stepping stones, right? You've gotten to a place and now it's kind of like you've summited, I got there, I've had enough, because it's talking about the consumption and the use of something, expiration date, time, transformation, and submission, sacrifice, letting go, undoing something that you have been doing, right? Okay, Gemini, I'm going to leave you alone. Thank you. All right, now, Cancer, this is going to be your weekly for the first week of November. You got the Lovers. By the way, I have yet to mention I'm using the Druid Crafts Tarot. All right, so the lovers, this is Mercury. Where's Mercury right now? It's in Scorpio and it's retrograde, which is trining your energy. So you might be realizing some things, right? With this being a 6 related to the 6th house of Virgo, realizing something. Some things have changed. You know what I mean? The way that you see something, the way that you acknowledge it and recognize yourself attached to it. You know what I mean? Your attachment to something, it might have changed, you know? Or you could be finding yourself attached to something that you like. It's the experience, right, Cancer? It's talking about your habits, and it's talking about your habits within relationships, right? Because there's Venus related here too, right? This is also talking about the nature of things, the nature of your mind and what it's leading you to understand and believe, right? It could involve someone else too, where you stand with someone, right? It's talking about the process of getting to know, right? Definitely. Acquaintanceship, right? Maybe you guys met somebody, or maybe you guys are going to meet somebody. Maybe you guys are trying to be more social and be out there, because Mercury is out there and it's being very social, you know? Maybe you need a breath of fresh air, and maybe this social energy, this social environment is going to make you feel like renewed in some kind of way, you know? You know, the 6th house is Virgo, and that talks about your health, right? So of health is a focus here too. You know, you could be thinking about your health, and you could be thinking about many different aspects of your health and how you can, you know, satisfy some of those urges that you might even be having in terms of your health, right? It's talking about, you know, reciprocity. You know what I mean? You get what you give. What you put out there, it comes back to you. We're thinking about that too, Cancer. What you put out there, it comes back to you. So you're really trying to be thoughtful. You're really trying to be, you know, honest as well about your experience and about the ways that you kind of identify with your experience, you know. You're asking yourselves the right questions, or you're asking yourselves questions at least, you know, at times when you feel like, wait, maybe I should question myself, right? You know, and this is also the energy of, what am I thinking of? You know, Gemini in some kind of way, right? Because there's two people here, right? Because it is Mercury, and it is Virgo, right? And Gemini too, but this would definitely be more of a Virgo type of situation. You know, what are you doing right now daily? What are your habits that might need to change, right? In terms of like being able to see yourself being more social and be out there and flirt and be more playful, right, Cancer? This isn't being stuck inside having all of these feelings about what's not happening. You know what I mean? This is actually allowing yourself to feel what is happening. You know, get out there and connect. You know, network, see people. Just do things that you can do that are going to help you, that are going to make you feel like you're actually taking advantage of your daily life, your daily experience, the things that you get to kind of like do. You know, this is kind of like every moment is an opportunity, right? Because Mercury is very opportunistic. So take the opportunities that are being offered to you to receive, you know, the blessing of experiencing beauty, right? Wherever you are. You know what I mean? Be able to recognize that when it comes to you, right? And take the opportunity, take advantage. All right, Cancer. All right, Leo, these are going to be your messages for the first week of November from the Druid Crafts Tarot. This is the Nine of Cups related to the Hermit. So it's talking about the discovery of something, the discovery of what it is that you are realizing about yourself, you know. Because the nines are definitely talking about, you know, going for something, you know, trying to get somewhere. It's determination, right? Because the 9th house is Sagittarius, and that's a lot of passion, right? Because you could be feeling very passionately about something that you feel like you want, you desire, or you deserve, right? You know, this is Jupiter in Pisces, so this is in a very dignified position here. You know, this is a wish card, you know. This is kind of like the emotional satisfaction that you get from getting from one point to another and seeing progress. So this is you wanting to feel like there's some personal progress here, right? And you're wanting this personal progress to take place, right? Because it's going to make you feel like there's some level of growth here, right? Some level of evolution, right? You want to see that things have kind of like turned over. They've gone somewhere. This is also travel too. Some of you could be wanting to escape, right? You could be thinking about going somewhere. You could just be kind of thinking about like going, escaping creatively, right? Like going to places that take you out of, whatever it is that you might be worrying about. I don't know why I'm getting that. But the ninth house is Sagittarius. It's talking about, being very spirited about something that you would like to receive, It really is about that with you right now, Leo, being very spirited about something that you want to receive that you feel like you deserve, Being that it's a 9, it's talking about the work that also goes into it of what you feel like you deserve. Have you worked hard, right? Have you learned your lesson, right? And then it's also just talking about what's being revealed to you, You're kind of like, well, what am I missing? Because sometimes it's not about just kind of like, am I satisfied? You know what I mean? Is my life satisfying? What would satisfy me? Do I need to change my focus? Where am I going here? It's kind of like the Odyssey, right? Where am I going? What does all of this mean? This is an abundance of things too. So some of you should watch, how you're spending or how much you're eating or how much of something you are doing. Because he's kind of going overboard here. This is also kind of like an exaggeration of feeling, right? How do you really feel? Because the 9s are talking about the truth about something too. Are you being realistic? Because the 9th house is talking about realistic things. Hermit energy is talking about realistic things. Pisces is not necessarily, it can get kind of caught up in the delusion of things, right? Right? Misunderstanding, because the 9th house is talking about understanding, and also the Hermit is trying to go in and understanding. Are you seeing something for what it is? Right? Because you could be pretending to yourself that these people are there to be there to receive those cups that you've laid out, but they may not be. So you could be experiencing some dissatisfaction, which is leading you to sort of like determine whatever it is that you want to go for that would bring you the satisfaction. But there's some learning here, right? There's a course of action that's going to have to be taken to get what it is that you want, to get this emotional reciprocity, because a 9 upside down is a 6, which is referring back to the lovers, right? Okay, all right, Leo, thank you so much. Hello, Virgo. This is going to be your card for the first week of November from the Druid's Craft Tarot. The High Priestess, this is intuition and a depth of feeling, right? This is mutable. It's Pisces energy, and it's also Neptune. So this could be you just being tapped into your intuitive nature. This is also you probably needing to cleanse your spirit, or maybe even needing to cleanse your third eye, or just even cleanse your energy. You know what I mean? This too is related to the second house, which is talking about security, your emotional security, your spiritual security, your overall security. Are some of you feeling insecure, right? Are you being creatively insecure, or are you being insecure about some creative thing that you might be doing? You know what I mean? Also, Neptune is definitely talking about creativity. So you might be changing some ideas that you may have had about a project that you might be doing. Some of you might be even trying to manifest a job or manifest a home or something, and you're putting a lot of spiritual energy into that. Some of you might even be traveling for some creative endeavors. There's a process of weighing something out and trying to figure something out, determine where you're going from here. with someone. Perhaps some of you might even be trying to feel out, someone's vibe, someone's vibration, and just kind of try to get in their head, to determine where it is that you might, what your standing is with them, right? You might even be feeling a little bit emotionally insecure because you're trying to determine what someone is feeling about you, right? And you could be probing a little bit, right? Because this is a 2, and it is kind of like, Pisces squares that Gemini energy, of probing, right? Mentally. So this is spiritual probing, or you're just trying to probe someone's energy, feel someone's energy out, Virgo. This is also just you kind of like focusing on your creative endeavors and doing the things that, are going to bring you some kind of, emotional clarity, because creativity is actually, us processing and expressing our emotions in a real way. We're putting something out there that's real, that can be looked at and that can be felt, that can be, sensed. Okay? So you're sensing something by whatever was put out there, or you might have noticed something, right? It's a feeling that you got when there was something that might have been triggered, which caused your intuition alarm to go off. You know what I mean? And it could just be like you feeling something out and thinking and feeling about how something is going to go in the future. You could already be just determining it. That's why this institution. So it could be with an institution. It could be with work, because it is a 2. Right? And that's related to the second house of earned income and, what you do to get your money, right? So that could be changing for some of you guys, or you could be feeling like that is going to change, or something with the company might be changing for you. And that. You can feel that. You can feel the change coming on. So you really are trying to like go with that energy, go with the flow, manifesting that, right? There's some wisdom here too. You're getting around something, right? You're starting to, something is about to crest or breach, coming out of a state, of maybe disbelief about something. And maybe you believe it now. Maybe you actually really do, Virgo. All right. Thank you. Libra, what do we have here? The Princess of Pentacles, double Earth. So something is about to change for you that is going to be very substantial, right? It's going to be very real. Something is being realized, or you're working on something to fully realize it. You're putting the effort into something, and you're looking at the logistics of something. You're looking at how you can work something to make it the best turnout for you, right? How can you benefit from the reality of a situation that you see? What are you working with? What can you do with this? The Princess of Pentacles is Earth, and then it is also ruled by Earth. It is definitely, you're seeing where you're going. There's a level of growth here that can be achieved, right? But it's kind of like the way that you go about this achievement, right? This process, you're ready. You know what I mean? You're in the condition. You're in the right condition. You're poised. You're ready for this growth process, right? And this is talking about something coming in, something that's probably different, something that you can apply to, whatever situation that you might be in that's going to change something for you. So something is definitely changing the game for you, Libra, and it is actually going to make it real. This could be with work, this could be with money, or this could be with something that you're trying to manifest or fully realize for yourself. It's going to take you, planning, some detailed planning, some work, some effort, and it's also going to take you, being critical, right? And looking at the details of something, you know what I mean? And you're doing it in a way that is more thoughtful, because the pages have to be a little bit more thoughtful about the elements that they're dealing with. You're being a little bit more thoughtful about your money, how you're spending your money, how you're using your time. You're looking at what you have to do to make something, a process go more smoothly for you. You know what I mean? You're dealing with the challenges. It's kind of like the test that you're studying for, or the test that you've been studying for is one that you actually expect to pass. You know what I mean? This isn't like, studying hours before the test. The test has been a whole experience, because you've just gotten to the end of something. We're post the end of something. We're post the end of some energy that has shifted for you, that has changed for you in a real way. This is a foundational energy. This is structure. You know what I mean? This is how you might be governing a situation, right? This is how you administer something, for sure. And the princesses do bring in announcements of reality. The Princess of Pentacles definitely is talking about, the realization, the understanding of something that is changing, right? What is it talking about? Registration, So there could be documentation or registration, right? Or that feeling of, registration, right? Signing up for something new, signing up for a new reality, participation, right? That type of thing, right? Making the best out of this, right? Making it useful, being very practical, right? A new practical stage, a new stage of practicality, right? You're trying to see the quality within something, within the learning experience. What can I take from this, right? What am I seeing? Right? All right. Thank you so much, Libra. Damn, Scorpio, you got your modern ruler, Rebirth, which is a judgment card. This is number 20. So this is related to that energy of the High Priestess with giving up, sacrificing, right? Letting go of something, releasing something. This is a spiritual cleansing, right? You could be cleansing yourself of the energy of someone else, or how they might have affected you that kind of like made you feel weak because of your inability to control the feelings that were stirred up inside of you by way of being attached or knowing or, just being around this person or being around this energy. This could be talking about cleansing yourself of the energy of an environment that you might have been in that might have been toxic, or freeing yourself from something that you felt was holding you back. You're coming out renewed, a new sense of vitality. You know what I mean? This is Pluto, which is the opposite of the sun, right? And if you think about the sun card, it's usually this child, right? Or this youthful energy riding a horse. Well, this is it coming out before that, or you know what I mean? It's kind of like there's been something far off in the distance that has been happening, right, for a while over time here, and it really is talking about healing from something for sure with you. And then, Pluto is also in Capricorn, and that's your third house of communication, and also siblings, right, and also children. So this could be something with children, it could be something with siblings, or it could just be something with learning the complexities of your personality, you know what I mean? And just the inability to control some aspects of who you are, right? Because it's meant for you to just kind of like be that. This is the shadow side, right? We should deal with that shadow side in a meaningful way. It's talking about healing from how the shadow side can kind of have its grip on you. You know what I mean? This is a 2. So it is talking about weighing some things out. You've come to a place of understanding, what you have been allowing to control you, right? Okay, and it also is talking about what's been revealed to you. You know what I mean? So there could have been some sort of like eye-opening experience for you, that was really powerful, because this is talking about power, right? And it's talking about how you give away your power, how you and how you retain your power, and also just kind of like healing, right? I don't know why I went from power to healing, but the power to heal, that's what we're thinking about. That's what we're looking at here. Okay. And there's wisdom here too, right? Forgiveness. You might even be forgiving something, forgiving yourself, or forgiving some experience that you may have had that you felt like was restricting you, or maybe marginalized you, right? or maybe led you to believe that you weren't capable or that you could not do something, right? Maybe you're finally getting past that. Maybe you're finally letting go, right? Or seeing something for what it is, because it's kind of like your perspective has changed as well, you know, right? Friendships might be different. Relationships with family members, friends, and committed loved ones, right? Jobs, career, you know? Because some of you had to change from a reality, from one reality to the next, and it was painful, you know? We're also talking about, shared resources here, right? And what you can do together, right? Or what you have with somebody or what you don't have with somebody, So there could be some focus on what you have with somebody business-wise that could be getting, controlling you or making you feel like you don't have the power to control the situation because other people might be involved. You know what I mean? And that's what this card is also talking about as well. All right, Scorpio. Thank you. Hi, Sagittarius. This is going to be your card for the first week of November from the Druid's Craft Tarot. You got the Prince of Wands, which is the equivalent of the Knight of Wands. This is you. This is Sagittarius. And 1/3 Scorpio. So you guys could be dealing with a Scorpio. Or this could just be you moving forward with a lot of energy and power with something. Enthusiasm, right? Not power. With a lot of energy, enthusiasm with something. Jupiter is in your sign right now as it is gearing up to switch, to change signs. And this is talking about a shift of energy. Definitely. You could also be dealing with someone that has some codependencies in terms of like escaping, right? Maybe they like to have a lot of sex, or maybe drink a lot, or, spend a lot of money, or do things a little bit like overly. Maybe you feel like you're being a little bit extra right now too, right? Or you might even just be feeling like some, success, right? You might be feeling like things are moving forward quickly with something, and you might just be feeling very good about that. That's where the enthusiasm and the motivation is coming from, right? And, you're coming from a place of, maybe not feeling unmoved with something, right? And now you're kind of like ready to move forward with it. There might have been some drawbacks that you had, but before, but now you're sort of like realizing that like there are some things that you're gonna have to let go of in order to let something move forward, right? Because you really just kind of want to see something happen, right? Because you have your eyes focused on something, and it's kind of like you're not gonna let things that kind of would seem like they would get in the way, get in your way. You know what I mean? That's where the spirit is coming from, right? The drive, okay? The passion, the endurance as well. So I'm feeling like, endurance is another thing, right? And the belief, right? The belief, it's a strong belief in oneself that you're having here. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like if other people probably didn't believe that you could do something, it's kind of like you didn't even really know that they couldn't, or they didn't, because you didn't have time. You were still doing it. You know what I mean? It's like that type of thing. And it's actually kind of like taking back your personal power and your control, right? And it is talking about an evolution, right? You've evolved from one place to another. You've come from that energy of Scorpio with being fixed in the emotions and not knowing where to go with how you feel. Now you know where to go with how you feel because you've probably cleansed, you've probably forgotten something or forgave something, right? And Scorpio energy, or the Scorpios for this week, they got the card of Pluto, which is talking about rebirth and cleansing. And, your card is 1/3 Scorpio right here, the Prince of Wands. So, you could definitely have something to do with the Scorpio, or definitely have something to do with cleansing, some energy that allowed you to see that you could move forward with something. It's kind of like realizing your potential, or you're definitely kind of seeing where the capabilities are and where the potential does lie right now, because you're not kind of like being stubborn about how you feel about something that may have not been the same way that you wanted it to be. Okay, Sagittarius. Thanks. All right, Capricorn, this is your card for the first week of November from the Druid's Craft Tarot. You got the Three of Cups, and this is Mercury in Cancer. And this is how you think, about your feelings, or how you, attach your thoughts to your feelings, you know? How do you communicate your feelings? What do you do? How are you connecting? Are you connecting? Are you opening up? Are you receptive? Are you allowing yourself to receive this positive energy that you're faced with, you know? Because it's a three source related to the Empress, what you might be faced with. You know, it's also creativity. You know, are you listening to your creative energy? You know? Are you allowing other people to come in and inspire you when you feel like, you know, or when you need to be inspired, right? Are you taking advantage of opportunities to connect with others in a meaningful way, right? And it also is saying, like, you know, are you making the most of your environment, right? Are you making the best out of a situation or out of an environment that you find yourself in consistently, right? Are you doing your best to get along with others? Are you getting along with others, really? You know? And it's kind of like, you know, how do you see yourself within, you know, a group of people that sort of like know a lot about each other or talk a lot about each other or see each other a lot frequently, right? Because the threes are sort of like frequent, right? It's the frequency. Do you align with the frequency of someone or some people, right? Right? Do you connect with the frequency? You know? Are things meshing well, Capricorn? You know, it also has to do with the home, right? You know, do you see yourself enjoying the home environment that you find yourself in, you know? Or you're also trying to figure out how you can make, you know, a situation better for you or make it even more enjoyable than it already is. You might even be trying to get other people excited or involved in something, you know, some effort to create something or some effort to make something happen, right? Because it's a three, so it's talking about, you know, a creative period, undergoing a period of creativity and something sort of like coming into form. You know what I mean? This is an understanding of how you feel about something, and maybe your feelings are coming, you know, making you aware of something. You know, you're able to acknowledge how you feel now because it has actually really come into form, you know. Some of you could even be saying I love you to someone for the first time, you know. Or maybe you feel that feeling of love for the first time, right? You know? All right. Thank you, Capricorn. Aquarius. Aquarius, your card for the first week of November is the Hermit. And this is related to the moon. And as you can see there, the moon is right there. And this is talking about a sort of spiritual evolution that one has on their own. You know, this is solitary, right? You're trying to figure out where you fit into a scenario, you know. This is kind of like doing some self-work too, Aquarius. You're working on yourself. You know what I mean? And you're trying to find some divine guidance, right? Or you're trying to find the best guidance for yourself. You're making plans. You're looking at the details of a situation, right? And you're trying to see like where you can go from here. How you can make the best of a situation, right? You're trying to understand how you feel as well, you know? And you're kind of like making something more about you than you are about other people. You're kind of trying to find your way. Because it's a 9, so it's related to the 9th house of Sagittarius, which is meaning like, you know, talking about where we're going. You know, what's the point? What's the goal here? And you could trying to figure out what the point is, right? What's the reasonable conclusion that we can make here? What am I meant to understand from this? What am I learning? What am I meant to learn? You know? And how am I going to apply what I've learned so that I can, you know, make something out of this experience? You know? And also, it really is talking about, you know, lessons, you know? spiritual lessons that have tested your faith, you know, tested your spiritual endurance, you know. There's another side to the situation too, and you've just got to figure it out for yourself, you know. You've got to take the risk. You've got to venture out. You know, you could be opening up yourself to something that you haven't before, you know. This is also talking about an escape with oneself. Escaping to yourself, you know. Is going through a process of evolution, right? Your philosophies might be changing about yourself or about other people or about the way you do things, what's important to you, what's not. You know, what's the state right now? What state am I in right now? You're trying to figure that out, you know. Definitely. All right, I'm going to leave you alone now. You too, Aquarius. Well, Pisces, your card for the first week of November is the Ace of Cups from the Druid's Craft Tarot. And this is an opportunity for spiritual cleansing, you know, and a new understanding for how you feel. This is a new feeling, right? And how you identify with this feeling. Where is this feeling going, you know, right? Because you just came from a place. Now you're trying to see, like, where you're going. You know, because this is related to maybe a job. It could be related to you yourself, okay? You know, the 10s reduced to a 1, right? So we're thinking about career. We're talking about the effort, right? Maybe you have gotten to the end of something and this is a new start for you, you know? What's the truth about how you feel? Are you being truthful with yourself about how you feel? And how do you feel about you? You know? Are you bringing a lot of focus to things that, you know, make you feel like you might be questioning your self-worth? You know, because this is a very self-oriented card here, right? And when you identify with your feelings and your intuition and your motivation from those feelings, right? What happens? Where does it take you? Where would you like to see this go? You know, this new beginning, you know, because some of you are having a new beginning in terms of work and career. Some of you are having new beginnings in terms of like how you see yourself and how accepting you are of yourself. It's talking about self-love, you know. Right? Care, self-care, you know? And it's also talking about dignity, you know? This is the crown chakra as well. So there's something here that's going to help you raise your vibration, right? We're talking about, you know, a true feeling, you know? Opening yourself up to receive something, you know? This is also not fighting, not going against something. It definitely is going with the flow of a situation or a circumstance or whatever you find yourself facing. You know, it's spiritual cleansing. It's letting it happen, you know, not fighting it, right? No opposition here. We're not trying to oppose. We're not trying to go against. We're not trying to fight. None of that, okay? So I feel like you definitely are letting go of something. You're submitting to something. You're trying to be at peace with something. But you have to cleanse your energy, right? In order to be at peace from that thing, whatever it is. Right? And this is talking about evolution as well, growth. There's some emotional maturity, some emotional growth that's happened here, right? You're at the beginning stages of something, right? You might even be feeling inspired, a little bit hopeful, right? You could be feeling hopeful, right? All right, anyway, I think that's going to be it, Pisces. Definitely keep your head up. All right, bye.